Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. We're looking at Resident Evil 2 Remake. This is on the PC, and game just started. Played a little bit of it, and played the demo pretty thoroughly on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, as well as the PC. It is a very well optimized game in the PC. A lot of settings to mess around with. It works well on a lot of GPUs and CPUs, from what I've read, and I'm enjoying the game. The question I had going into this, which I posted a video last night before I got into the game, was would the HDR be an issue as far as how the game looks and performs. Now the game looks very good here, and not going to let me go back through there. The black level is still pretty washed out. Now, even though on the camera it's going to look even more washed out than it should. I also have the filters of film noise and that off. I don't like the noise and grain structure. There was a little bit of vignetting on a lot of these titles. When you look up into the skybox, it is a very good looking game. It's not the sharpest, but it's a good looking game depending on which anti-aliasing you use. Right now I'm using FXAA and TAA combined. The game is pretty much maxed out, and it looks nice. HDR is actually off right now. I'll switch it on. You're not going to be able to tell on the camera, but it still has the same kind of issues that the demo had, which is still kind of a grayed out area instead of a pitch black level. I will say that with HDR on, the highlights of the flames and things of that nature are brighter. Maybe I'll go back over here and we'll see that. I know when I go into the police station, I'll go back to where the demo left off and it'll be pretty washed out. The game looks great. But remember, we're talking about HDR, we're talking about contrast. We're also talking about peak brightness with your black levels. So let's flip on HDR, see how different it looks. I'm not sure you can see the difference. The flames themselves are brighter, but the entire image is much more grayed out. Now when you switch between HDR on and off, at least on the PC, see how washed out the corners of the screen are? Now those of you that are familiar with 4K HDR TVs, you'll see that and it'll remind you of flash lighting or edge-lit bleed, which is what probably makes me sensitive to it. Now I have a full array display, so I don't have any of those issues. However, it does remind me of having displays that do have the grayish black bars. Now as we come up here, does it look great? It does look very good. It just, that is a pretty washed out image in terms of here I am at night. Now, judging by what is in the surroundings, the lights coming off the building, the clock, that really shouldn't affect me out here. What I mean by that is that street light is out. I know I'm getting a little detailed into it, but there is no light. There isn't any light coming from this area to create this haze. Now I know I'm nitpicking, guys, but it is a graphics channel and a image quality channel. Is the game something I'm going to play? Absolutely. I don't feel it's as important as it was in in Red Dead, as Red Dead had this very beautiful open world that I think really needs that realistic HDR. So we'll switch it back off. I'll show you how quickly it is to switch off in the PC. Display, HDR off. Now what you want to do is go into the brightness. You're seeing blooming from my camera. What you're going to go into is, yeah, the brightness should all be the same because I left it that way. Yeah, gotcha. Cool. Now it's still a washed out image, just not as badly as it was with the HDR into it. I find that black level just to be much better than the washed out HDR. The highlights of the flames aren't quite as vibrant, but that's okay. Having the corners of the screen lit up. You know, like I said, on the camera you're going to see more blooming due to the camera itself. But this is a game where I'll definitely play with HDR off. Now, why is this a big deal and not a big deal? I did an HDR video the other day talking about a lot of us have purchased high-end displays with HDR for the reason of using HDR. Not just in movies, but in games. And a lot of you keep HDR off, which is a shame. A lot of you that have upgraded to 4K HDR monitors have also realized, well, why the heck did I upgrade my monitor? If you didn't go up in size, you know, you might find that your old monitor was just fine, and here you are with, you know, a worse image than you had before. Try and run by these guys and not deal with them. That's not gonna work. Out of bullets, by the way. Run by. Oh man, I ran around. Get off. Now, the black level and the cutscenes themselves seem to be fine. But definitely here where I'm not using HDR, I definitely like this black level better than I did with HDR in the demo. Definitely out there you can see how much better the black level. It is black. Very impressive game as far as the mesh, the way the detail is, the lighting. You know, here are the shadows. That's kind of how your black level should look. You know, take away the light to... It's very black here, the shadow detail there. We'll do more videos on it. I want to just do my perspective on HDR. I'd love to hear your comments on what you think of it. A lot of you guys commented on the other video. Let me know what you were thinking of the demo and what you've played so far. I'll definitely say that seeing this for the first time with HDR off, this is definitely much better than the demo, which had HDR on. Also, what console or what PC, what your graphics card is, what are you running this on? Are you playing on a Pro? Are you playing on a standard PS4, Xbox One, Xbox One X? The cutscenes are also excellent. And also for ha-has, I definitely encourage you to look on YouTube for Resident Evil 2 and just remember how that game actually looked. A lot of you that are older, like I am, remember playing that game at launch and thinking it was mind-blowing how gorgeous that game was. All the graphics, all the, you know, Resident Evil really pioneered the pre-rendered backgrounds. I believe Omi Nishua had that, and the Dino Crisis. A lot of the games that were similar to Resident Evil after had that. Even Devil May Cry, which was from the same creator, had those pre-rendered backgrounds. So you'd have like wind blowing in the window, but the drapes wouldn't move or the curtains wouldn't move. So a quick video on HDR. There hasn't been really anything out as far as a analysis calling it a fake HDR the way it was with Red Dead. But for a game that should be more atmospheric in terms of its black level and the spooky flashlight, you know, I would like a better black level. Again, nitpicking, but again, guys, the channel is not a negative channel. It's just that we're very into graphics on this channel. We're very into technology, displays, 4K displays, and we just want to get the most that we can out of these displays. You buy a full array display, you buy an OLED for a reason. And a lot of you have, like I said in an earlier video, you've gotten rid of 4K displays to buy an HDR 4K display. You want to see it used as best as it possibly can. Alright guys, thank you as always. This is Resident Evil 2 Remake. The game looks amazing. It's fun, and we'll do more videos on it. Take care.